Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. I thought I would share some of the scrapbooking that I've done for my trip to London, and we went there in November for boyfriend's birthday. So this is an old notebook that my sister bought me absolutely ages ago, like years ago, and I really like it. I really think it's cute. I just never had a reason to use it. The paper is kind of slightly textured, so it's a little bit difficult to write on at times. So it wouldn't have really made sense to me just to use it as like a list making notebook. It would have been a bit of a waste as well. So I used it as a scrapbook for our trip to London, which was only a weekend trip, so I didn't need it to be like a huge, big scrapbook or photo album. This was the perfect size. So I took a lot of pictures with both my phone and also a analog 35mm camera as well. So when I came back, I printed out a lot of the phone pictures myself. I had to wait for obviously the analog pictures to get developed, but then I printed them all out at home. So I've started with when we first arrived. There's a little bit here about like the itinerary that I put together initially and like our train times and stuff. But this is when we arrived, and this is my boyfriend frowning at me because I was taking selfies. And so it is a mixture of photographs that I've taken and then some things that I picked up when I was there. So like this was a card and a chopstick wrapper from this Japanese place that we ate at in London called Tombo, and it was really nice. And I really recommend it if you happen to be in that area. It was kind of South Kensington area, nearish to the V&A and those other museums around there. And this is just our hotel, and then I also have included some like journaling as well on some of the pages, although not all. So here I have cut out a bit from the V&A leaflet that I picked up, and I also used my big hole punches. So I think this is 2 inches across and this is 1 inch across, I can't quite remember in terms of diameter, and then I just hole punched bits out from the leaflets just to add a little bit of interest onto the pages, and also it's like a little bit from the V&A, which is where we went. And then this is a picture that I took with my analog camera, so I've just put by the side which ones were analog pictures just so that I kind of know when I flick it back through. I have stuck all the pictures down using glue. Unfortunately my decent glue ran out, so most of it is just Pritt stick. I have used washi tape on the corners, and it does have kind of two purposes. One is the practical purpose that it does help stick down the corners, which were the bits most likely to peel up, and the other thing is that I just kind of thought that it looked kind of rustic, or I don't know, kind of like it's a scrapbook. If that makes any sense. It's a mixture of some smaller pictures and then kind of some full page pictures. So when I was going through printing out my images, I went through all of them, and then I decided which ones I wanted to be on the smaller side, which weren't as impressive an image, perhaps not as like spectacular a view, or I just didn't feel like it was as significant as an event whilst we were there, and then which ones I wanted to be bigger or to go next to each other, which ones I wanted, you know, that were portrait, which ones were landscape, which could be cropped a bit, and so on. I then went through and used a program called Picasa, which is a free program that I've used a lot of times, and I just use it to make collages. So here is kind of an example of one of the Picasa collages, and this is just where we went to lunch. We went to Leadenhall Market and then a place called Goodyard where we got like wraps and Coke. So this is an image of the outside of Leadenhall Market. This is the wrap and the drink, and then this is my boyfriend drinking his Coke. So these pictures themselves aren't that impressive, like it's just a wrap, you can't even see the food because I didn't even take a picture of it, you know, open. So they didn't need to be that big, but they were kind of all connected, so I've made it into like a little collage and then just kept it as a collage. But I basically went through and made collages with all of the pictures in, so that way that I could make the larger pictures be large on the collage, and then the smaller pictures obviously just be like this tiny size here. that is very time consuming, it's very faffy, and I also find that it is quite wasteful because I end up oftentimes printing out much more than I actually need. So several probably pages of pictures went in the bin, which is kind of a waste of photo paper and a waste of ink, and ink is obviously not very cheap. If I was a bit more organised, I would probably be less wasteful, but I do just find it is quite hard to envisage how it's going to look on the page compared to when you're printing it out. And obviously this notebook is relatively small and it's not full A4 when it's opened out, so I can't even kind of, like, one picture to take up one page is not half an A4, it's not A5, it's smaller than that, so that has to be kind of factored in. I really like this shot actually. It's from Covent Garden, and it was all done up for Christmas, and it was getting a little bit darker because it was getting later on, and so it's really picked up the bright lights that were hanging up. This is my analogue camera, and analogue cameras don't like low light levels. You can see my phone camera makes it look a lot brighter because the phone is able to adapt to that, whereas the analogue camera can't, or I have no idea how to make it work. So it's really picked up the kind of the darker shadows and then the bright lights, which I just think looks really festive. I've also included stickers. I think these are Mambi stickers, so me and my big ideas, and they're kind of travel related. I do find that they're generally too big, so I've used all the smaller ones and I've kind of run out of the smaller size stickers now. But I just think it's nice to add some stickers in, some different elements in. I think if it was just pictures, photographs and text, it would be a little bit boring perhaps. My handwriting is not super neat and it was getting scruffier and scruffier as I went through. It was quite hard to write on this paper with the pen that I was using, but once I committed to that pen I just had to keep going. But I do really like it when there are other things going on the page. So again, this is a leaflet or an exhibition leaflet we got when we went to the Tate, and we went to the Tate Modern and saw their temporary exhibition, which was really good. And so I just used like my big hole punch to hole punch out some circles about the temporary exhibition, and then put my photographs on top, and I just think it makes it look a bit more interesting than if it was just photographs. The exhibition itself is quite visually interesting, so this image is quite cool anyway. But I just think I just like it. Yeah, and then we were there for Paul's boyfriend's birthday, so I've just put like a little date and place for his birthday, because that was just one of the stickers that was in the sticker set that I've got. I do have lots of stickers because I use them in my planner, and I do have other kind of travel related stickers, but they are more country specific. So I have some for Canada, some for Paris that I bought when I was there, a lot for Japan because we went on a long Japanese holiday, so I bought some before we went and some whilst we were there. But I don't have any kind of generic ones apart from these Mambi ones. This page I don't think works quite as well as some of the other ones. I think the pictures are too small, and again, like I said, when you just have pictures and a bit of text, it doesn't look as great. It just looks a bit clunky and I wasn't like amateurish, but that just seems a bit silly because obviously I'm not a professional scrapbooker, because that would be, I mean, that would be an amazing job, but unfortunately not one that's attainable for me. So I don't think this page worked as well. I do think sometimes you think like a smaller scrapbook will be easier to work with, but actually I found that it's oftentimes harder because you end up having to print or cut out smaller pictures, which can just look a bit odd on the page and are a bit fiddlier to work with. This, I think it works a lot better when I've got like other props, I suppose, so like tea bags from the tea that I bought at Fortnum & Mason when I was down there. I've also tried to kind of layer some images because I was running out of space for some of the images that I wanted to use. So this is a selfie, a close-up out of focus selfie of me in Hyde Park, and then this is the Winter Wonderland that we didn't go to, but it's like a big theme park fair thing, I guess. And we just saw some of the rides from outside. And yeah, that is the end of the scrapbook. So it's just a quick flick through and kind of a bit about how I kind of put scrapbooks together and how I kind of like to do it now. So if you have any thoughts or tips on scrapbooking, please leave them in the comments below, and if you have liked the video, please give it a like, and if you'd like to see more, please subscribe.